The only real hope and change you'll ever get is from God. It's going to come from the Lord, or it's not going to come at all. It's going to come when you admit that you can't do it and that you've got to have His help.
Some of the examples that I've given you guys about stewardship boils down to this. If the Father has given us an ability to do something, that's what we have to do. If we have an ability to do something, do it to the best of your abilities. Don't worry about the part that you're unable to do, but do it to the best of your ability, and the Lord will take up the slack. Now, having said that, we all know what we're facing. We all do. The floods that are now beginning to show very persistent patterns all throughout the earth. They're becoming commonplace, but very devastating. But the Lord is showing us that we're having a change in topology of the earth. In other words, there are major changes in altitude, or let's just say it this way. This weather phenomena is causing the earth to change its shape. There are landslides, great caverns being formed. Some are filled, some are emptied. Either way, these flood zones, people should not rebuild in these areas. I don't believe they should rebuild. This is going to come again, and again, and again, and again. It's going to continue this way as the earth goes through a severe makeover. And if we are responsible, having our conversation with the Lord, some of these areas are going to have to be abandoned. I believe it's a warning, a subtle warning. I do. Very subtle. And I'm hoping that people will pay attention. Because when the weather gets worse, there's going to be no place for people to, their homes they're going to have to go through trauma. They're going to have to go through this flood issue again and again. At the beginning of the year, I talked about Texas. You guys remember that? Nobody really wanted to hear Texas and Florida, right? The southern states are going to have problems because of the Gulf of America and some of the warm waters moving, from the Gulf of America into the atmosphere, inundating the inland portions of the U.S. with rains. This cycle is going to continue. It's going to get worse. It's a good example, however, of this. When a place is popular, or people like a place, they don't want to give it up. They don't want to look any further into the situation because they like that place. I like Texas. I do. I like Texas a lot. However, I also know what's coming to Texas. I know what's coming there. And I just hope that people have their eyes open. Most importantly, I hope that people are seeking the Lord for direction. When half of a state is covered, do you think people will pay attention then? If that were to happen next month, do you believe people would pay attention? Would it take half of a state to be covered to get our attention, the believers' attention, to get out of those places? We could potentially face a few states, at least half of those states covered in water. And people are not ready for that. Floods are devastating. I mean, devastating. It's only God's grace that some of the southern flow has been obstructed by heavier particulates from the desert, the sand. The sand is slowing down some of the airflow, going from east to west in the southern hemisphere. Had it not slowed down some of the currents, Texas would be devastated right now. In fact, all of the southern states would be devastated. This is monsoon season. Right now we're in monsoon season. It's beginning, and monsoon season is very important in the USA. I started to talk about that yesterday, and I was sidetracked. But most of the rain received, and of the hotter regions of the USA. During monsoon season, they receive the bulk of their yearly rainfall during monsoon season. So it's important that they have the rain that they're about to get. It's going to come in so fast. Floods are inevitable. They really are. Floods are. So that takes education to know these things. Once you know, we have a monsoon season. Once you know that, yes, the animals are, they're thirsty. They're not eating like they normally do. Their behavioral patterns are changing. We have drier and drier regions in the USA. That shouldn't be that way, but we do. Then when you overlay a map and see where the rains are falling, you begin to understand it's merciful. But it just so happens many people have moved their homes in these areas. These areas have to be recycled, so to speak, for life to continue. This time, expect some intrusive, very intrusive obstacles. There are people out there, they don't want anybody discussing this subject to cause the populace, their mindset, to take caution over the move. All they're worried about is the bottom line. Money. Corporations get rich selling property, selling all that goes with property. They don't care where you buy it, so long as you buy it. But the earth is changing. South America is changing. All those people who lost their homes during that earthquake, they ought not rebuild back in that area again. That earthquake revealed large volumes of magma right below that place. Large volumes of even more oil. Large volumes. There's a higher responsibility involved. And we have to get ready. Everybody should be ready. I hope they're ready for the change. But I fear that there's a reluctance in people to change anything. I do expect a loss of life when the heavens change. I don't expect people to pay attention to the weather. It's like August 12th. What do you guys know about August 12th? What do you guys know about that? I saw some of you guys talking about, I believe it was last week, some of you guys were talking about the earth losing gravity for a few seconds. That's dovetailing. You guys know that, right? That's dovetailing. It's dovetailing because in 2010, someone you guys know discussed that very subject. And no one had ever heard about that subject before. That was back in 2010. Somebody discussed that subject. Somebody else picked up on that subject. And it caught traction. That's dovetailing. That's when somebody else comes in and they start adding to somebody else's narrative or take somebody else's idea and reintroduce it to the populace. I'm going to call hogwash on that one. Absolute hogwash. Something else will happen. Though, we have an eclipse, August 12th. Have you guys looked at the path of this eclipse? The eclipse, this eclipse, of all eclipses, this eclipse is a sign. This eclipse is a sign. Now, the only reason I say it's a sign is because of where that shadow is going to be traversing. It's going to cover areas of massive distress. It's going to terminate in an area of grave danger. And men are going to continue to do what they do. But if you mark those areas almost immediately, a few days after the eclipse, you will notice effects taking place as though something has touched those areas in the pathway of this eclipse. It's almost like it'll be like following a narrative, following a story. So August 12th, gravity loss, I'm going to call hogwash on that one. I will. But the eclipse, I'm going to step out on my limb and say it's a sign. My prayers are towards Italy a lot, and for very different reasons than most people. Italy is going to be in trouble. They will. Like there was a video footage of the sky flashing purple the other night in Nevada for hours. It flashed purple. I believe it. Purple skies. You guys remember that topic about the purple skies? That always precedes great storm destruction. Do you know that? So watch that area and see for yourself. See for yourself. Doesn't matter. Many cases with prophetic things, I want you guys to understand something. If the Lord gave us a prophecy, and say the Lord said, before a specific catastrophe happens, because the people are destroying each other. So say the Lord declared he was going to send a catastrophe. But prior to that catastrophe, suppose he said that the sky would turn, in the middle of the night, the sky would turn green. And so we're living our lives, and all of a sudden one night, the sky in a very specific area turns green. The next day we find out they had a celebration, and they were shining green lights in the sky. Now, the only people who knew about the prophecy, let's say it's just us. It's just us. But we do know for a fact that people caused the sky to turn green. Is that sign valid for the end result with the Lord? If the Lord said the sky was going to turn green, and following that, a great calamitous time would come upon the people, and then sure enough, one night the sky turns green. But the next day we find out that people were shining green lights in the sky for some celebration. Is that valid? Is that valid? Okay, so let me stress this. Many of you are saying yes. Here's why it's valid. Often, it does not matter how something happens. It only matters that something happened. I think a lot of people get mixed up like that, because if you look at the prophecies in the Old Testament, the Lord gave decrees. And he gave decrees dealing with people's behavior. He gave an end result, right? He gave an end result. He'll often bring people. He'll use people to bring things about. He'll coordinate things on a large scale. It's very difficult to follow. It'll be exactly as he said. People get thrown off because they start looking at how it happened. I can tell you right now that didn't matter. Didn't matter. If the Lord gave you a dream, and in that dream, he said, Mike is going to say a specific word, then after that word, right, some folks are going to be in danger, so pray for them. And then one day, I say that word. Would you pray for the folks that are in danger, knowing that I'm the one that said the word, like something in your dream told you I would say the word? Would you pray for those people? I would. I would. Take note of this. God will utilize what he created to bring about his decrees. That's all you have to remember. That means he'll use us. He'll use the worms. He'll use everything he created to bring about his decrees. He tells us of a bug's army, a bug army that will sweep the lands. Then he turns around and he calls that a plague. And we're at year 15, closing up on year 15 from another cycle. God uses his creation any way he so desires. Anyway, in prophecy it foretells of how people are going to be in this day that we're living in. Isn't it funny how people conformed to exactly match the Word of God? People no longer endure sound doctrine. The gospel is boring to people. People have itchy ears. That means they want to hear things, very specific things for their own entertainment. And indeed, if you analyze your own life, often when you access a computer, you're looking for something specific to your interest. See how that works? So yes, God will utilize his creation to bring about anything he so desires. Try to remember that so that you're not, because a lot of people are going to discount things. They're going to say, well, so-and-so did that. Or that great fire was caused by so-and-so. For example, if the Lord said, an entire nation is going to burn. 1/4 of that nation is going to burn up. Right? And then somebody says, well, a plane crashed in a forest. A year later, we found out 1/4 of that nation is burned up by fire. But it was caused by a plane crash. I can tell you right now, the plane crash does not matter. There is no case when your father's out of control. That doesn't exist. There is a purpose and a standard to everything our Father does. He's not going to do something without an end result, right? Being significant. He's not going to do that. Chappie says, Michael, if a person has Alzheimer's and they're starting to get mean and cursing, why is that spirit allowed to work in them? Well, now I don't want to get sensitive with people, but I'm going to tell you something. Let me explain something to you guys. Alzheimer's is degradation of organs, right? When a person is put under anesthesia and they're starting to come out, you notice a very diverse set of behaviors coming from people. In my case, I talk about computers and the Lord a lot. Constantly, I won't shut up. Right? That happens a lot. But I'm not mean. Some people are very evil. Some people are very kind. When you're allowed to see the true nature of a person, when you're allowed to see what you've been dealing with all this time, it is often shocking. Alzheimer's, dementia, those things, they can often bring out the true character of a person that's always been there. I know a person who has Alzheimer's, and he is the happiest person on earth. He understands he has Alzheimer's, and he's very thankful to God for Alzheimer's. How about that one? But this individual he's always been a grateful individual. Always been a grateful individual, always fought for people and nobody ever found out. He is not selfish. He would give you the shirt off his back and all the money out of his account if you needed that. So when the disease hit him, it made him joyful, and he's enjoying it. It is the most ironic thing to understand that you have a condition and to be thankful to God for that condition. He is thankful to God for that condition. That's him. But he's not the only one, is what I'm saying. Some people, they get irritated and aggravated because it's overwhelming. But you'll learn a person by their conversation. Listen to me. Listen, and I had to be careful on this because I know you guys are sensitive. And sometimes my comments can be so blunt, I sound morbid. But when a person has a memory issue like that, I want you guys to remember something. When a person with Alzheimer's who can't remember anything here on earth, when they get to the eternal realm, who are they going to be without their earthly memories? Because why is it, here's a better question, why is it that a lot of people who get mean with dementia and Alzheimer's, they have the same conversation? Here it is, you ready? They say, somebody's taking my stuff. Isn't that what they say? Somebody is taking my stuff. Is that fair to say? I need your input on this, everybody. So I'm not alone in this. But they always say somebody is taking my stuff. They say somebody is stealing from me. They're trying to hold on to materialistic things. They're accusing everybody of taking things that they have. And it really shows you where they're at internally. That's what it shows you. Now, if you have a loved one doing this, I'm going to also tell you it's an opportunity. You don't pacify the greed. People are greedy. They can talk and they can project to be a very nice person, but inwardly, they care about their stuff, reflection of who many of us are. They also begin to see people in the walls and closet. They don't want to be disturbed. They think somebody has put something in the food, all sorts of things. Well, why do they have the same story? Well, scientists acknowledge the disease part. The behaviors are acknowledged, but they're seeking a scientific answer. People like me seek a spiritual answer. Why would a person be like that? Because absent your mind your true nature begins to surface without a filter, no filter. And when your true nature surfaces, if that were to happen to any of us, some of us are going to find out that we're just as greedy as many of those folks out there who have Alzheimer's. We too would blame things on people. See, and this exposes something. If you can hear this, if you can capture this conversation, you can overcome something in your life. What a person who is constantly taking inventory of their stuff, their telltale signs in life. They always have something nobody can touch. Oh no, don't sit there, they'll say. Don't sit there, that's for special stuff. Don't touch that. This table's been in the family for 900 years, and I don't want anybody to get a scratch on it. This plate, see, their memories, inadvertently, they have collected things. They have associated those things with loved ones. They have assigned an importance to stuff over people that can rot your soul from the inside out. Do you hear me? That can rot your soul. If a person ever puts a thing over a person, they've already messed up. And that does damage. Damage to the individual. Damage to the people around them. Hear me on this. Because some of you have important stuff that's more important than anybody you know. With me, a child could come in and accidentally break anything that I own. I will not get upset. I'll never get upset. The cost does not matter. I'm not going to get upset. Because I will never place some object over another human being. I'm not going to place an animal over a human being. Not doing that. It exposes the true love within us. And often we're lacking in that love. We're lacking big time. So hear me on this. If you have a loved one who's doing this, and you don't understand why they're doing it, it means you may not be able to see the underlying narrative. Now it's time to consider the underlying narrative. Within yourselves, hear me on this, within yourselves. I had a person that turned mean. I mean, this person was mean. But guess what? Every time I saw the person, they would get irritated because they couldn't remember things. They would say that people were taking things. You know what I would tell this person every single time? I look them right in the eye and say, it doesn't matter. They would get frustrated because they can't remember it. They say, oh, I just can't remember. It just left. Every time I try, I say, calm down. It's okay. It'll come back in due time. Don't worry about that. See, it's an opportunity. Do you know that same person went from being mean to being joyful during their last days? Why? Because I'm not going to feed into the chaos of darkness, period, despite its origins. You guys understand? When a person is having a crisis moment by way of their emotions, and they're trying to make sense of the world, why do people always jump on the side of chaos? I'm not going to do that. Ever. I'll tell a person the truth. When they think that someone who is long past has come back and taken their kitchen table, then I'll tell them, it's okay. It doesn't matter. So be it. Let them have the table. Doesn't matter. That's a teachable moment. Listen, for the soul. They're not going to remember, but they will remember of the soul. And this is something I found out. A person can lose all their memory. They'll never lose who they really are. You can teach a person things they can remember for usage in this world. And that's one thing. But you can sow into somebody's soul, and it will stay with them forever. Because every time a person is frustrated, and you tell them the truth, you sow love into their soul. You give them comfort beyond their comprehension. It's an opportunity to show a person a different way. See, some people, the sum total of their lives is their stuff. That's what empowers them. When people come over to their house and they show them all their stuff, that's their personality. They have invested a large part of themselves in what they own. But if all that stuff is gone, who are they? Listen to me, folks in COT and everybody else. If your stuff is gone, if you have nothing, who are you? Who are you? without your stuff? Who are you without your bank account? Who are you? That's why this season right now is a good season to take inventory of one's life, to begin to see things by way of truth, not this built-up fantasy we call reality, but truth. Who are you without your looks? Who are you without your abilities? Who are you without your stuff? Who are you without your job? Who are you? Do you all see that so far? Does that make sense so far? Would you guys think about something? Think about something. In the end, think about your Father in heaven and Christ. How is he preparing us? Just like he said he would. In truth, when we stand before the Lord, are we going to stand with anybody to our left and to our right? Yes or no? This is one of those questions. We're going to stand before the Lord alone. And when I say alone, I mean alone. So think about something. When you stand before the Lord and you have nothing from this world, nothing, things that previously defined you, you're not going to have. Who will you be? Who are you going to be when you stand before the Lord? Who are you going to be? See, all too often, men or human beings have created their own narrative of truth. It is different from the Father's truth. Very different. And when you have these things that happen where a person has a disease, where they cannot remember things, and their true frustration surfaces, and their heart surfaces, it's a reflection of how we have been living. It's a point of correction also. See, in this world, all of us attempt to project a character to everybody else. But the Lord knows us for who we are. If you strip away your spouse, you strip away your families, you strip away your stuff, you strip away your looks, you strip all that away. Who are you? Some would say, I'm no one. And see, that's the problem. You are someone. But who's going to start correcting us in this way that we're living? Because essentially, do we not live and are we not defined by the life we are creating? Do we not define ourselves to everybody else by those things we have amassed? By what we're projecting to everybody else? God sees right through it. I can't talk about you, I can talk about me. Right? The tough guy days, all that was a big facade, a projection. Was I a good soldier? Of course. And it was all phony. It was phony because without the accolades, without all the awards, this, that, and the other, all those accomplishments, who was I? I was just like everybody else. A person who didn't know too much. That's who I was. A person who still had fear in their lives. A person who was afraid to be exactly who they are. A person who covered up shortcomings with muscle, with all sorts of things. You take all that away, you're a different person. And some people are so terrified of losing the identity they have worked so hard to develop in the earth. It shows itself during a moment of crisis. It's a very dangerous way to live your life. I'm going to ask you something. You don't have to answer out loud, because if you did, you may not be answering truthfully. If the Lord were to take away everything you have, would you still be a person of strength? And when I say everything, I mean everything. Who are you without any of these earthly things? Who are you without your family, your looks, your academia, your accomplishments? Who are you? Where's the origin of your true faith? What do you actually believe in? Because one way or the other, it's going to come out. It's going to come out. All of us face the time we never thought we'd face. Now, for the sake of this conversation, I'm not going to go deeper. But there's a prophecy you may not have heard of. Something that people who study Hebrew, they have likely found. And it has to deal with mammon, and why mammon would even be mentioned. It has to do with part of the war that you're in right now. A war of materialism. People are defined by materialism right now. If a powerful person lost their power, they're so afraid of being nothing, they do everything they can do to hold on to power. It's the reason they do what they do. Many people are like that. Your Father's interested in who you are, not who you made yourself to be. And when you face the Lord, you're not going to do it with your wife, with your husband, with your children, with those special people in your life. You're going to face Him alone. What will stand before the Lord? Who are you, really? It's kind of like some of these new people today. I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just saying this is our society. Our society is full of people who can alter their bodies, right? They can alter eye color. Some people have had contacts in so long they really think their eyes are green. Their eyes are not green, they're brown. They have green contacts. But if you've been wearing green contacts for a long time, you're going to accept that's simply how you look. It's not the way you look. If you strip everything off, no contacts, no perm, no, clothing that complements things, and who are you? During this time, here's a prophecy about a set of angels. Angels that feed materialism to people, cause them to be greedy for more things. Because one of the powerful fallen angels that oversees that, his name is Mammon. Mammon is associated with greed, with stuff, and that strong desire to have it. Mammon works through the flesh. In the Bible, Jesus said you cannot serve two masters. You're going to love one and hate the other. Cling to one, right? And not the other. He said, and then he compared. He said you cannot serve both God and Mammon. He didn't mention anybody else. Why Mammon? Because Mammon is that thing, the spirit of the flesh. It is the craving in your flesh. Have you ever looked at something and you just had to have it? And you said to yourself, if I can just obtain this one thing, then I can do this and I can do that and I can do this and that. And you convince yourself that if you had this one item, somehow your career is going to take off. Your business is going to take off. Something that you have in your life will take off. And so you get this thing. And when you get that thing, nothing takes off. You're back at square one. It's not what you thought it would be. It does not perform as you have imagined. Now you're upset. Now you're upset. Now you need something else. And so almost immediately after, you start looking at something else and there it is. If I have that, now I need that. If I just had that, then I could do everything. Do you not know people do that all throughout their lives and end up doing nothing? It was one of the hardest lessons I had to learn. So what is the way of the Lord? What did the Lord tell us to do? Anybody know? What did the Lord tell us to do? How are we to go about doing things? Are we to do it like that? No, because that's being fed directly to your flesh. And how many of you have something in your homes that you really thought was going to somehow change your life, and it didn't? How many people have come into your life that you somehow thought would change your life, and it did not change the way you hoped? So what is the way here? So that you're not one of those who would get Alzheimer's and turn mean. So that you'd be like that guy that gets Alzheimer's and dementia and is the happiest person on the face of the earth. What does one have to do? You You have to see the miracle of life itself. What is the miracle of life? That your Father has provided all already. What do I mean? Let me explain. Instead of saying you need this one item to create your empire, carefully consider what you're about to do, utilizing what the Lord has already bestowed upon you to do it. And you do that, and the Lord will make a way for you to continue to go forward. But if I were to neglect what the Lord has blessed me with, saying I need something else, why would he ever bless me to be prosperous in my endeavors when I am in full rejection of what he's already given me? See the difference? You see the difference? There's a saying with Christians, come as you are. But does anybody ever mean that? Come as you are. Just like that saying, come as you are, that nobody really adheres to in life. Be a good steward over what the Lord has blessed you with. First, identify and be thankful for what the Lord has given you, what he's blessed you with. Take inventory of what you've been empowered to do already. And then you take that and you say, Lord, this is sufficient. I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with this. If you have a heart's desire to serve the Lord doing something, don't ask for anything extra. Utilize what the Lord has already given you, and you go forward with that. Do you hear me? Wasting nothing, go forward with that. And when you go forward with that little bit that you have, and you're doing everything with that little bit that you have, then your Father in heaven can add more to it. Why? Because you will have demonstrated that you will go forward being a good steward of what the Lord has already given you to go forward with. That you're not asking for anything extra, but that you're willing to utilize what he's empowered you with already. Now, when you do this, when you start going forward in life and all things just that way, utilizing what God has already blessed you with, now you're starting to recognize your blessings. See, if I were the person who said, if I needed something new to do something, then what I'm actually saying is, well, I'm not blessed. But it would be a blessing to obtain this thing over here so I can do something. But right now, I'm not blessed. That's what you're essentially saying. You're saying that the Lord did not bestow enough on you for you to do anything. Well, we know that's not true. He would not have called you if you were lacking. Lord have mercy. You wouldn't even be called if you were lacking in something. Be a good steward is to know your sheep. You, in the Bible, it says you are to know the condition of your flock. Do you know that? Why would that be in the Bible? Your flock is everything God has actually given you in life. You're to know the condition of your flock. You're to know the condition of everything God gave you. Before you know the condition of it, you must acknowledge what you already have. And I tell you this, the Father has said he's given us in abundance things. Why don't we recognize it? Because all too often we minimize what God has given us. We maximize those things right outside reach. That is a projection of your own flock. That is not being a good steward. And God does require of us to be good stewards over what he's given us. But are we good stewards? Because I'll be the first to tell you, I was not a good steward. I always felt I had to have more to accomplish something when I was younger. All that left abruptly, especially when I went through a period of great loss. Years of great loss. You all see that? Does it make sense? In our servitude to the Lord, should you develop a habit of going forward with what you've been blessed with, you'll lack nothing going forward. But if you always need something extra, you can always find yourself coming up short. You guys see that? Yeah, you see that? I learned hard lessons dealing with that subject. I did. Harsh lessons. Now back to the people with Alzheimer's, and they turn mean. Hopefully you can see some of the base cases or base reasons why a person would turn mean with Alzheimer's. When their perception of things is scattered, one of the first things they do is attempt to take inventory of their stuff. And they'll blame any and everybody that somebody's taking my stuff. But I'll tell you now, there are people out there with Alzheimer's and dementia. They're the most joyful people on the planet. You have to remember that part too. Okay, I'm going to answer some of your questions, everybody out here. I will. Hopefully you got that little part, because in being a good steward is to first realize that your Father has bestowed responsibilities upon you and blessings upon you. You're empowered to do things. But if we don't accept what we're already empowered with, we're going to be looking out to get something extra to make it work by the eye. Throws things off within us. Big time. Glad that you all can see that. Hopefully we can work on that. Because if we were to lose memory, in my case, when you go under, you get put under. Some people are mean. Some people are controversial. In my case, I'm very instructive. I turn to an instructor. When I'm under, but I don't know what I'm saying, I start talking about the Lord. Computers and people end up laughing. There were so many times when I would wake up and they were in there just looking at me laughing. And they would say, you wouldn't shut up the whole time. You were talking about Christ. And you were talking about computers the entire time. The pretty coherent, conversation. Now that's not miraculous. What it does convey is where I spend my time in my thought. That's what it does convey. We get back to the questions here. I know somebody keeps asking about the evil constellation, binary twin, those things. That's a midnight hour topic. Okay? That's a midnight hour topic for sure. Somebody says, what do you know about the Noahide law meeting in November in Jerusalem? Listen, they've been talking about the Noahide laws since Noah had no hide. I would not I would do this. The puzzling part to me is this. Are people in fear of any Noahide laws? Because do you not realize you're under Babylonian laws right now? See, people are worried about Noahide laws. And right now they're in absolute corruption, most of us are, by following Babylonian law right now as we speak. So why would anybody really worry about Noahide laws that still have not come forward? And every year, Noahide laws are coming, right? Every year they're coming. Just like, Fred Sanford talked about the big one was coming. He was going to see Elizabeth. So I say this, a dark kingdom is rising. And in that dark kingdom, Noahide laws would be a relief to the righteous. But that's not what's coming. Can you guys tell I'm totally empty in the gas tank here? Can you guys tell that? One midnight hour, I'm going to talk about that dark kingdom. The kingdom that's here in the USA, the kingdom that's here in Europe, the kingdom that's in Rome. It's here right now. It's not coming. It's here. It's set up. It's here. It's operational. And its roots are spreading everywhere. There's an agenda. Very complicated agenda. All right, let's see. What do you guys have there? Somebody says, Mike, last night you talked about the fallen returning and deceiving with miracles. Nope, not the fallen returning and deceiving with miracles. Appointed men and women doing that. Doesn't have to be the fallen. Doesn't have to be them. Any vessel Satan works through, right, will be sufficient. Any person. And they're going to do that with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And people are going to follow them because the Lord said they would. But how they come on the scene and how they do things is a telltale sign of who they are. The Lord didn't walk around proving things to people. He was encouraging their faith for them to walk by faith. He emphasized the importance of faith. These false ones coming forward are going to prove to people they are who they are. Jesus would never do that, nor would any prophet, nor would any apostle. They'd never do that, because faith is a necessary way to live out our lives. You don't want to live by proof, then there would be condemnation on this earth instantaneously. But the Bible teaches us there is now therefore no condemnation to them that believe. We're operating by faith, not being proven, but these false ones that are coming, they're going to prove it to you, and people will follow them. People are hungry to see acts of the living God. They're going to fulfill that by showing people acts of the living God. And people will be duped and follow them and praise them because of the proof they offer them. See, somebody says, let me go down here again. Somebody just said something. Somebody said the statue in Babylon had a head and was the head, but people keep forgetting the statue as a body, the world. Actually, that statue, the head was a head of gold. That was a standard. King Nebuchadnezzar represented the standard, and it also represented a kingdom, and all other kingdoms would be inferior to his. The statue itself represents the last 4 kingdoms on planet Earth. There are only 4 kingdoms that would be in the earth, right? Each kingdom had a different standard, but each kingdom was given dominion over the entire earth, right? So the head represents a kingdom. The chest represents a kingdom. Lower portions represent a kingdom. All of them represent a kingdom. They were given dominion over the whole world. The whole world is governed by those kingdoms to this very day. King Nebuchadnezzar was the standard, the head of gold. All other kingdoms would be inferior to him. The last kingdom before the everlasting kingdom was partly strong and partly broken, the kingdom we live in right now. And in that kingdom, it was said that they would mingle themselves with the seed of men, but would not cleave one to another. That's the kingdom we live in right now. That's what we're in right now. A hybridized kingdom that you cannot see. Hopefully. Where's my mouse? My mouse is gone, guys. It just left. It just vanished. There we go. Question, Brother Michael, has God given any details of what it will be like when we stand and give an account to Christ? I don't know what the judgment. Well, yes, he did. He gave us a good description of that, of what we need to know. He gives an excellent description. But there's a problem. There's a problem. I say this very gently. People have conveyed so many wondrous things that many have moved away from the biblical view of what that looks like versus the wonderful things people have been talking about. For example, here's one of the biggest differences between what people see and what Jesus said. Jesus said that in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to be male or female. We're going to be like the angels. But people say they convey what they saw. Well, they think when they say they went to the heavens, that they saw children and they saw their wives and pets and everything there. And Jesus is telling us that we're not going to be male or female. If we're not male or female, then it really takes a study of the book of Genesis to understand that origin. See, if you're not male or female, there's no need for children. Children are part of the process of growth that life may perpetuate on this planet. In an eternal realm, you don't need children because everything is made eternal. You do not need children. Animals likewise. Animals, their spirit is in the earth. How do we know this? That's exactly what the Bible says. So the spirit of an animal is part of the earth. You are the living souls on the earth. You're the ones the Redeemer came for. But people love their animals so much, they're trying to make the part of the story of redemption about them. In other words, people are so hurt that animals they make such great therapists. People have made a spot for these animals in their eternity. You know what the truth is? Eternity is not going to be what we dictate. It's going to be far beyond the most joyous and beautiful place we can ever imagine. We don't have the imagination. We do not have the mind to conceive of even the small parts of eternity. Because if eternity ever turned out the way I've heard it described by some people, I don't want to go there. I do not want to go there. Because that's the same old mess that's down here. When you have male and female, you also have competition. God does everything needfully. If there's male and females walking around and children walking around, there's purpose behind that. This stuff here on this earth is for the earth. Alongside the things that happen in the earth, you have the Achilles heel of evil, just waiting to ooze out of every single orifice. No, thank you. I don't want this stuff here on the earth needs to stay right here on the earth. No one need drag this mess into the eternal realm. This is a mess. The only way to get forward in this world is for other people to literally die. No, thank you. We're male and female on this earth to replenish the earth, to perpetuate generation after generation after generation, so there are always vessels for spirits. It's not going to be needed in the eternal realm. That's what Jesus said. He said, don't you know anything? You're going to be just like the angels, being neither male nor female. How about that one? See, Jesus spoke the truth, and people still think that Jesus is wrong. They do. They think they're right, and Jesus is wrong. Jesus is not wrong. Problem is, the majority of the people have only seen the earth. They have seen nothing else. That's the problem. I mean, now other people, they may have a good time here on this earth. I do not have a good time here on this earth. This earth is dark. If the earth is cursed because of the iniquity in people that's practiced every second of the day. While some people are celebrating, children are being put to death. If you knew that for sure, if you saw the dark side of this world, you would not want the eternal realm to look anything like this world. You wouldn't. So when people celebrate here on the earth, I can't. It's very difficult for me to celebrate. Why? Because of the truth I know. Now that's not meant for everybody to see. You know what's even worse? It's for those people on the earth to see the dark side and celebrate anyway. This world has become just like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's worse. My joy in this world is tied expressly to Christ, and the tasks of love are tied directly to the salvation of others. And because it's a task of love, I'll never get tired of doing it. Because when you love to do something, it becomes a passion. It's no longer a task. But all this other stuff, I pray it just never translates into the eternal realm. Man has taken everything, and they have attempted to control everything on the earth, making everything just like their carnal thoughts. I want nothing to do with that. Me personally, I pray that the eternal realm is nothing like I've heard anybody describe. Because if we can think of it, then we can control it. We can also pollute it. But we cannot think of it. If it was beyond the capacity of our minds, of our imagination, then it truly was not made by any of us. And we will never control it. It will be, in fact, clean. Michael, is Lindsey Graham's death natural, or was he murdered by Iran? He underwent surgery. I know it was a shock to most people, but if you look at him prior to this year, he was having some issue. He had been having issues for quite some time. Well, those people don't communicate their issues to everybody. They don't do that, but he had been having issues for quite some time. Okay? And it was only a matter of time. It really was. That could have happened at any time. I think for the last 6 years, he had some close calls, many close calls. Either way, he's free from this world, and he'll end up wherever he chose to go. Somebody said, so Iran lied? Or did you expect Iran to tell the truth? I wouldn't quite trust Iran too much. I wouldn't trust them. They're very strategic in what they do. I'll tell you this. They're crawling right up under our feet. And they will exact revenge. And this country is not paying attention. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Everything right now is sitting on a fulcrum, seesaw. And it's going to be based on decisions made. And if those, because I told you guys before, and the only reason I told you is because the Lord put it in me strong. In January, I told you guys something. I said America is going to be blessed if we what? If we do not begin to murder. Didn't I say that? Because the Lord gave that to me. That word murder and betrayal. The Lord gave to me over and over and over and over again. And that if we began to murder, the hand of grace will be lifted from this country. And then we'll know what everybody else feels like. See, the hand of grace has been upon this country. The hand of mercy has been upon this country. We've been spared a lot. But if they begin to murder, God's hand of grace will be lifted from this country. He is no respecter of persons. And that's when people are going to find out God's grace is needful. God's mercy, it is the life or death decision to have it or not. With God's mercy, we continue. With God's grace, we can even smile. Without God's grace, we're done for. We have too many enemies, and without His mercy, many will perish. And it was all contingent upon murder. Betrayal was coming anyway, but murder? Do you guys know what murder is? Somebody mentioned it. Hatred is murder. Being vengeful is murder. That's murder. You do something out of vengeance. You have just murdered someone. You do understand that, don't you? If you take vengeance upon yourself, you're murdering people. Your Father already said that no one is going to do that and get away with that. No one. Do you understand? No one. When you hate your brother, that's murder. That is murder. That is of the heart. Everything, many things are foolishness. Loose lips, foolishness. That's foolishness. Vengefulness, murder. Everything else is foolishness. All the communication and talking is foolishness, but when you hate your brother, that's coming from your heart. That is murder. That destroys. It does more harm than you can ever fathom. People only see things in the natural realm. Something happens in the spirit realm when a person hates. Everything else is foolishness. Gossip, foolishness. That's foolishness. To laugh at someone, foolishness. To hate someone, murder. Gossip, tale-bearing, all those things, foolishness. Whoever gossips and tale-bears and does that, they're going to pay for it. But when a person hates another person, that's murder. And when a person pays someone back for something, God sees that as murder. See, we have to be careful with that word murder. We have to keep it biblical. Not based on philosophy, but based on God's truth. Philosophy and philosophers have stated that tale-bearing and all those things are murder. That's what philosophers say. That comes from men. We're talking about what the Lord said. It's important that we live by what the Lord said, not philosophy, but to operate by our faith. And the Lord told us, don't you pay somebody back evil for evil. Don't you do it. He'll require things of us. The Lord said, do not hate. If you hate your brother, then the love of God is not in you. And if the love of God is not in you, you are operating by the other spirit. So it's either the spirit of Christ or what? You already know the word. The opposite of Christ. That's what the spirit of antichrist is. Not the antichrist themselves, but the spirit of antichrist. That's why your prayers are needed. You make the difference in men's hearts. By your prayers, God God will change the hearts of other men. You stand and act as a covering by way of your intercession so that certain people are not destroyed. If you don't intercede, then you'll see them fall. You do nothing, they will fall. You intercede, the Lord will act according to his word upon those people you interceded for. He's not doing it according to your intellect. He's doing it according to what you need, because you will inherit the decisions made at the top. You inherit those. That falls on your head. Changed Pharaoh's heart. God did. Why did God change Pharaoh's heart? To bring his prophecies about, to change the heart of the people, to introduce himself to his own people. He hardened Pharaoh's heart, yet he softened other hearts. God can do that in a heartbeat. He did that for the sake of his people. Because of you, others are spared. Because of you, others are spared. So if you guys are interceding, I do, because they will eventually affect you. If they continue and persist with murder, then stay yourselves in your faith and get ready to see what you did not expect. I have a question for you all. You ready? You guys ready for this? If you knew a disaster was 6 days away in the USA, 6 days away from now, if you knew for a fact a disaster was 6 days away from now, why or what would you do about it? Number one, what would you do about it? And if you wanted that disaster to not take place, why would you want that disaster not to take place? 6 days from now, which is actually Monday the 20th, if something horrible were going to happen Monday the 20th, what is your course of action from this day forward? Somebody says, I'm ready. Pray and warn people. Okay. Here's why I'm raising this up, because you guys have been going through things like this, right? So if you warn people, they're not going to listen to you. They're just not going to listen. What are you going to warn them about? All you know is that something horrible is going to happen in 6 days. You don't know where. You don't know exactly where, and you don't know exactly what. You don't know why. So pause for a moment and take a look at the state of affairs in our country, in the USA, in Europe, in the UK, and all these countries. You know and I know that if a wake-up call does not come to people, they're going to continue with their activities, and people are going to continue to suffer. And do you know how many people suffer per day in the USA? Do you know how many people suffer per day in Europe? Do you know how many people suffer per day in the UK? Do you know? A little over half. Write down COT, guaranteed. Guaranteed. There's somebody suffering right now in COT. They're not telling a soul. They're not. I know for a fact there are too many hungry children in the USA. Too many hungry children in the UK. Too many hungry children in Europe. There are people who have not been educated on how to navigate this world, which will cause further sufferings. There are Christians who have become violent and foul. They're falling away. Do you know why? Because their hearts are sick. Because they're giving up. Because they believed that by this time they would have been gone. Because they're in pain. Because no one is speaking to them. Because people are cruel. But if a disaster came, it would remind people of the frailty of life. It always does. When a large amount of people perish, it always reminds people of how precious life is. Without that reminder, sadly, people forget. They simply don't care. They're not thinking about their brothers or their sisters. Because they're okay, they assume everybody else is similar. They're not thinking about the starving children. Those things are in the dark. Nobody really wants to look in the dark, do they? We have an attitude in many of these countries. And if we're okay, then hey, that's good enough. Everything is fine. We look at the end times the same way because nothing major has happened in America. Most Americans believe that the end times are a ways off. Yet you have people in a war zone and they believe that the moments of prophecy are imminent. Why? Because people are dying. It's very difficult to hear the cry of those in pain in this world. We've trained ourselves not to see suffering. We've trained ourselves to look away from calamities. Then when a calamity does happen, they make it into something it's not. They use every calamity to push some agenda, to manipulate views, to get what they want. But I'll tell you something. Should something significant take place, it's going to remind everybody of just how fragile life truly is. See, most people would see that as a bad thing. You wouldn't know about the people if they were in a calamitous time. Many people at one time lost their lives. There'd be a lot of weeping on the earth. But those people would be free from the day-to-day turmoil that they have to endure. I met a guy yesterday. This guy's skin was burning hot. He was in the sun, had nowhere to go. He endures the days as best he can. But the nights, he said, are even worse. It's an emptiness. He called it a new emptiness in the night. A deadness. If a calamity came, people would once again be concerned about people. If a calamity does not come, people will further degenerate. They're going to think they're right about everything they choose. They're going to fight for their own way against their brother. That's what happened. So I ask you again, if something significant were going to take place, and somehow you knew it, what's your course of action? Would you warn people? You would know what to warn them about. You'd have no other information other than something significant is going to happen in 6 days. To warn somebody of something without clarity can cause confusion. It's crying wolf. You can lose face. Nobody would listen to what you're saying. So running out and telling people? No. You can't tell them that. What would you tell them? You certainly could not tell them about a calamity that they themselves cannot see, can't put together. There is one course of action you could take. You could spread the word of the Lord. Even more, you too could tell everybody to double check their foundations. To help others double check their foundations. You can love your enemy. What about intercession? Would you intercede? And if you could intercede, how would you do that? Is it by telling people? In the book of Revelation, we know of many horrors that will take place. We know for a fact, if we believe in the Lord, we know for a fact those things in Revelation are coming to pass. Who have you warned? You know what your story is? I've tried to warn, they won't listen. Isn't that your story? I'm trying to warn them, they won't listen. If they gave you a rebuttal, then they listened. They heard, mission accomplished. Intercession, what would that look like? What would true intercession look like? What if you knew that somebody was going to make a wrong decision in a very high position? You knew it was going to be wrong. How would you intercede? Why would you intercede? If you knew that someone was operating by emotion, not necessarily by the Spirit, how would you intercede and why would you intercede? Somebody one time, they said, well, I'd pray to the Lord and tell the Lord what should happen. No, we don't tell the Lord what should happen. That's foolishness. As though we know better than the Most High. The Most High knows what He's going to do. And no matter what you pray, He's going to bring everything to pass and nothing will fail. So how would you intercede? First, you need to know why. you would intercede. What is your motivation? You have to identify that. Why would you intercede in the first place? From panic's perspective, he told us never to do that. You don't intercede because you panic. If your motive is not bound in truth, don't say anything. If you don't believe the Lord will do it, you ought not pray in the first place. That's what Jesus said. If you do not believe in what you're praying, that person ought not expect to receive anything of the Lord. That's in Scripture. So first and foremost, you have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge that you don't know the right course of action that a person should take in this situation. You don't know. But there's one thing you do know. You know that you could be affected by their action. And so the moment you ask the Lord to give them the mind to do what is needful for the people, now you're on the right track. You're not telling God what to do. You're not dictating what God will do. You're communicating to the Father the truth about you. Intercession is not lying. Intercession is not knowing more than the Most High. Intercession is when something has totally gone wrong and you see something starting to form, knowing it's going to eventually affect a person in a very bad way. You have to check your motivations. If you intercede just so that person can stick around, forget it. If you intercede, recognizing there's a lot of work to be done. Remember, God moves on your behalf, not their behalf. He moves on your behalf. If something were to affect me from a decision of anybody, I would ask the Lord to be merciful upon me. I would ask the Lord to open my eyes and what He would have me do. I would also seek forgiveness of any slothful times I would have in my life. That's intercession. Is when you recognize you didn't intercede in the first place. When you recognize you dropped the ball. You assumed things are going to be different. That's an acknowledgement. And it's also when you pray that the Lord grant them a soundness of mind for the people's sake. That's telling the truth. You're not telling God what to do with a person. You're requesting that person have soundness of mind concerning the people. I often ask the Lord, Lord, remember your love upon the people. And the love upon the people is often exercised through leaders. Touch them. Give them a mind for the fulfillment of your will. At the same time, I'm always asking forgiveness for not moving myself in the first place. Truth. Approaching the Most High by way of truth. That's an effective prayer. I know people have their own way of interceding, but I've met some irritated interceding people. But I'll tell you right now, see, Jesus said some things for people who don't get answers to their prayers. He already wrote about them. He already said some things about them. And when you seriously consider them, you're not going to go to the Lord haphazardly. You will have thought out many things. You will have meditated. And that's when the Holy Spirit intercedes on your behalf when you're speaking to the Most High. That's when the truth is exposed. That's when you begin to see results in your prayer. Only takes one. One person can do that. All right. You guys see what I'm getting at? If a calamitous happening were to take place in 6 days, that means you'd have 6 days to get some things ready within yourselves. I'll tell you this. When calamities do not come to men who are out of control, other men suffer greatly the entire time. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like when people are constantly making decisions, but everybody else is stuck in the same position. I know what it feels like for no incident to cause people to reconsider what they've already done. I know what it feels like. Something with a massive influence of darkness and willpower is anywhere near you. Well, we live in those days. Now, is something going to happen in 6 days? You don't know that. But again, something is always happening in 6 days. Somebody says, so with the millions of things you say we should be, know, or do, how are we going to make it? No. What you should know, the Lord has given you. So you can sum all of this up with this: being honest with the Creator. Cutting loose, laying down your crown, right? It's your accomplishments in the world, lay that down. Laying down your character that you made for other people in the earth, put that aside. Taking away your King James speech, be open with the Most High. He's going to hear you as you are anyway, throw that aside. Go to Him in truth and truthfully communicate. Not for your will to be done, but for His will to be done. You have a right to go boldly to the throne of grace to find help in a time of need. If you believe in Christ, you have a right to go boldly to the throne of grace to find help in a time of need. When you go to that throne, remember who you're talking to. See, if we were to go meet somebody important in the world, it'd take us 4 days to get ready. We can talk to the Lord at any given moment, but how many people prepare themselves to talk to the Most High in truth? My point is, we talk to the Lord haphazardly a lot. By the hip. We haven't even contemplated everything before we go to Him. The Lord's not asking of the impossible from any of us, and He's certainly not asking of us things we cannot do, or He's not asking us to do anything outside of our own knowledge base or skill set. You are equipped. You're armed. He has given you everything you need. By faith we stand, not by proof, by faith. We can always humbly request of the Lord all things. My point to all of you is to be authentic with the Most High. Hopefully that helped. Intercession, remember, intercession is when you're in your household and you see that those in your household are not paying attention, and you want the Lord to be merciful upon them because you love them. There's nothing wrong with that. But ask your Father to grant you something to make a difference in their lives. Ask Him. Ask your Father for wisdom so that you're not lacking in wisdom. And we all know He gives that liberally. So all who ask of it, He will always give you wisdom. Ask Him. He put the faith in you that you would intercede for somebody else. Not that your will be done in the earth, but to intercede because people are not paying attention. Because people are still growing. And if a person is growing, then ask for wisdom to help that person grow. You know what it says in the Bible? Ask of your Lord wisdom. That's what it says. When you're given wisdom, well, that's when you'll know what to say. So let me shorten this with you. When God gives you wisdom, it is always with the Holy Ghost. The wisdom of the Most High is in the Holy Spirit. I can't make it without guidance from the Holy Spirit. I cannot make it with my own intellect. I would not have the mind to put the right words together to affect people. It requires the Holy Spirit. Period. And of me, that only requires my faith, my true faith. He'll do it. That's why you believe in Him. You've been picked to be that big bright light amongst those around you. You have. So, be that big bright light without fear, without wavering, because you live in a time that's going to change so abruptly. You live in a time where many will leave this earth in big chunks. I mean big chunks. Folks, this world is changing. I want to put some things forward so you guys know about it. There's a lot that's going to affect you in the coming days and weeks. Lots that will affect you. I pray that you guys are ready for it. I pray that many of you are acclimating to these temperatures. So do me this favor. Everybody do me this favor. Try your best to acclimate to temperatures at least plus 4 degrees warmer than you're already dealing with. Okay? Listen to me on this. This heat issue that we're having, this is different heat. It is causing a pretty big strain on the power grid. It's starting to blow components, which means power losses, to lose power is going to become a common thing because of the heat, as we discussed 4 weeks ago, something like that. It is devastating to anybody when they lose their air conditioner and they are an elder. It's very devastating on the bodies when they lose air conditioning and power. Some people are not acclimated to 110 degrees, 111 degrees, 113 degrees. And of course, in a structure, that temperature is only going to go up. Do your best to acclimate yourselves to some of the warmer temperatures. Drink lots of fluid and prepare so that you're not prone to some of these changes that will most certainly take effect. There are many people passing from this heat. The cities, they implement some of their plans this week coming up. Cities will have no choice but to shut down power to certain neighborhoods and places in that city. They'll have no choice. It's either that or they lose the entire grid for the city. Please be aware of that. God bless you all. I'm going to see you tomorrow right here at COT. And if I see you sooner, well, I see you sooner. But it looks like I'm going to see you tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to make it another couple of hours. Oh, and get your questions ready. Listen, the next time we have a Q&A, don't be afraid to ask the controversial and hard questions. Don't be afraid to ask those. You guys had awesome questions the other day. They were incredibly insightful. They really were. They really were. You guys have good questions anyway, but yesterday was specifically insightful. The day before yesterday was specifically insightful. Do that again if you would. Somebody says, oh, but those data centers still continue to run. You know what's so funny, though? Looking at the actual data centers operating versus the heat, most of the data centers are not operational. They're not operational. Oh, and by the way, we have external trackers to the heat that we're enduring. There are other planets out there. You can also measure the temperature of these other planets. And if they have the same heating issue, then we know it's not indigenous to Earth, right? And it just so happens that we're not the only planet heating the way it is. And if we're not the only planet heating up the way it is, it's not isolated to Earth. It's not. Plus, that simple volcano in Hawaii, every 15 seconds is letting off more carbon than we would over the course of, 4 months. It's putting off more carbon than we would in a 4-month period. It's putting that off every a few times a minute. And that's just one of 40 major eruptions that are spewing all sorts of debris in the heavens. Okay, everybody, God bless you. I'm going to see you next time right here at the Council of Time. It's always an honor to be with all of you. I'll see you next time right here at COT. COT's base of operations is right here at thecouncilofTime.com. COT has no other outlet or venue. These are other folks who will rebroadcast. Anything COT does is by the main page here at thecouncilofTime.com.
Notice also in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers. It takes the grace of God to change us, folks. How can you be saved if you're not willing to repent? And the Lord Jesus Christ said, except you repent, ye shall all likewise